So how do students really learn? What's their motivation? And how can teachers best help students? So let's look at a couple of studies. First, let's look at a book written by Daniel Pink called Drive. He describes what we always would call motivation, and he calls it 2.0. That means you reward it, you get more of it; you punish it, you get less of it. The question is, does it work? Well, it only works if the task is repetitive and requires a low level of thinking. But as soon as it involves even a rudimentary thinking, higher the reward, the worse the result. So he described Motivation 3.0. And what Motivation 3.0 says, if you give someone autonomy, mastery, and purpose, you will get intrinsic motivation. Autonomy means to be self-directed. You are your own boss. Mastery means you keep working at it until you get it. And purpose, well, that's doing something that's going to make a difference. And all of this leads to increased student motivation. Next research comes from Chapter 5 of Dylan Williams' Embedded Formative Assessment. In an interesting 1988 study, 3 groups were given. One was given grades only, a second comments only, and a third was given both grades and comments. The interesting thing is only the group that had comments only showed any kind of improvement. In a similar study done in 1987, there were 4 groups, this time one with comments that showed significant improvement, grades, praise, and no feedback at all showed no growth or improvement. So all of this, if grades have no effect, or perhaps even a negative effect, can we just give the power of grades over to our students? In another study done by John Hattie, he discovered that self-reported grades have the highest effect on student learning. So when we give students autonomy, we let them have the power of choice, the power to choose how I learn it, when I learn it, where I learn it, and how fast can I learn it. In a mastery-based classroom, students have asynchronous learning and benchmarks. Asynchronous learning, the students learn at their own pace, while benchmarks, they only allow them to move on when the benchmarks have been met. Remember though, it's important to have feedback over grades. And students will revise their work based on feedback. So we can give students purpose by allowing them to have self-reported grades. The student will meet with the teacher, the student provides evidence of learning and growth to the teacher, and they discuss what their grade should be. Grades are then based on that individual student's growth. When grades are removed, the purpose becomes all about the learning. So this gives power to the students to be autonomous, master the concepts, have purpose, revise based on feedback, not grades, and to determine their own grade. And all of this increases student motivation.
Created using Powtoon.